going on, fellas? Drama 22, giving you the intro to the Brian Flores defense. Starts with the 3-3-5 penny formation. So, first thing is you have to be a part of a league that allows you to play with this big nickel, special big nickel package. It's really 3-3-5 penny and allows you to play with the safety in the box. Okay, some people may not allow that. And if that's the case, then this package is not going to be necessarily for you, or you're going to have to keep the safety outside the box. Okay. The thing about this is that this personnel grouping will match up against heavy personnel groupings like 21, 12, things like that. So you have to be okay with that. And let me show you how you get set up. So we're looking at the Vikings defense. And real quick, just to make it so that it's the same as real life, I'm just going to make some changes. You have to manually make the changes you want. That nickel spot is going to be your safety that you want to get into the box. Harrison would be a great fit for it, but they use Metellus as their guy. And I'm pretty sure this is their starting free safety here, okay? So from that point on, this is going to give you 3-3-5 personnel, but we're going to use Metellus as like a linebacker, okay? And let me just pick any formation that's I formation right now. The one thing that I'm still working with and I'm still trying to wrap my head around is, do I want auto flip on or off? For this video, I'm going to leave it off, okay, and see how it gets lined up, because I think what's going to happen is it's going to put this big safety linebacker on the same side of the field every time, okay? So the base coverages that go with this defense, it really is split high for palms 6 and 9, okay? We will use cover 3 as a way to get into some of the pressures. We will use, when I say cover 3, a 3 high zone pressure defenses. We will use obviously some cover zeros, but we're going to stay mostly in the split high world. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to put a coverage shell most of the time in cover 4. We will mix in some cover 0 shells versus specific formations. More on that later. Okay, so you see right here, I'm just going to call, I'm actually in my audibles as well. For now, they're not fully set, but I'm going to put in there 4 palms. I'm going to put in there cover 6, cover 9, and Tampa 2. Okay. There's some more plays we're going to use, but this is kind of the core essence of what we're going to start with. So this is about getting a line correctly. So right off the bat, I'm just going to select cover 2. Okay. We're on the cover 4 shell. The formation is I right. Automatically, you notice that the safety aligns in this defense to the left of the screen most of the time, which is interesting because most of the time, the run strength is going to be to the right of the screen. Most formations, the tight ends to the right, and most of the time, that's where the run strength is. Okay, people don't really flip their formations too much. So what we're going to end up having is this safety here, Metellus. He's going to be that nickel. Okay, and we're going to bring him into the box. Okay, he's basically going to play that inside linebacker role. So look at this as like a 3-4 defense. Okay, and he's an inside linebacker. To get this linebacker over here to move over Cashman, we're just going to use our global adjustments for linebackers, which is left on the directional pad. And then we're just going to shift him to the left with the left stick. And that slides him over to be in that nice little bubble spot, 30 backer. Okay. I'm going to come in the box with Metellus and be that other 30 backer. So the power of this defense in general is you don't have to worry about, it's like running nickel, big nickel versus 21 and also versus 11 personnel. We can get away with staying in this package versus different groupings, okay? Now, up front, you will see the 4-0-4 alignment, really, with the head up or inside, even 4-eye with the defensive ends. That's where they align, okay? We can let that play and let that rock out most of the time. You don't have to make any adjustments with that, all right? But there'll be times where I'm going to shift the D line to the left and to the right. Usually it's going to be to the right or to this tight end strength. And what that does is kind of give you the underfront, okay? It gives you that 2-eye over here, 3 technique away from the tight end, and you can go from there. So this looks just like an under, okay? We got our outside linebackers who are very important in this defense. These guys need to be versatile players that be able to drop into coverage as well as pass rush, okay? These are regular 3-4 defensive linemen, interior linemen, right? We know the versatility of what we need. I think honestly, I'm going to study this, but I think the guy in the middle doesn't need to be that big. We'll talk more about that later. Okay. And we got our two other safeties back here, and we got our two corners here. All right. The cover four shell. So really, the run fits that we have are very direct when it comes to the linebackers or the safeties. It's A gap, B gap, okay, open gap. And also when it comes to pass drops, all right, in this case, we're going to have Greenard drop out, right? If you can control it and you know that maybe the right of screen linebacker is the one that drops out more, in this case, I would use Van Ginkel, right? He's a little bit more of a hybrid. This guy over here is a little bit more of a pass rusher, okay? But it's 3-4 defense. They got to be able to do both. That's the beginning. Now, coverage wise, just base coverage. Now, we are going to obviously use a lot of quarters, like I said, but in Madden, quarters has a lot of bugs in it, especially versus certain formations, and we'll get to that later. So cover two is actually going to be used just as much as quarters. Um, it's better against 4-by-1 formations. It's better against a lot of the quick passing game. It's just better that way. All right. But if you mix in that with quarters, palms, right, it's going to be really hard for people to know exactly what you're in. All right. Especially if they come out in compression, the corners are, in the same spot. Nobody's moving. It's hard to see. At times we will press the corners too. All right. But have them play zone. Cover 9 and cover 6 are available to us. So we can basically have that cloud side of the defense to either side, either be to the strong side here, or in this case, the weak side. Okay, so we can kind of mess around with that. That's kind of the base package without blitzing. Now, this team blitzes more than anybody else in the NFL. It's 45%. So we're going to have to obviously be blitzing half the time. All right. But this is the part of the package just to get lined up versus anything. It's kind of like our base set way of playing. And Metellus is going to be your weak side linebacker. He'll probably be not blocked a whole lot. Um, Cashman is your hard nosed inside backer, right? He's going to be taking on more blocks. But you really, by doing this and putting Metellus to the left of screen, you're kind of guaranteeing that he's usually going to be the weak side linebacker. Okay. If you took off auto flip, well, this is what it will look like. Just so you know, I don't want anybody to be confused. So, I mean, if you turn auto flip back on, what happens is the nickel aligns to the passing strength. Okay. So we would either have to flip the whole defense, which is a pain because people will quick snap you and then make your adjustments. Okay. Or the other thing we can do is just have it so that Metellus is the strong side inside backer and Cashman is the weak side inside backer. We could do that as well. All right. I like to try to keep it realistic to what the Vikings are doing in real life. Okay, let me show you one more front that's going to pop up a good amount. And I had to kind of like work on this one because I really couldn't get exactly what they had in film, but the nickel overload, I'm sorry, the quarter overload is very interesting front. And there's going to be some ways to get lined up in it. I won't give you all the details now, but something like 3-rat zone against an empty set. This is a very interesting style of defense, right? Let me just flip this real quick. So having everybody in the line of scrimmage in different ways is huge. Okay, we're going to bring in pressure sometimes, right? And then there's going to be times where we actually don't bring pressure. Okay, and we're going to be dropping guys out so that we will have only 4 rushers. So simulated pressures. Okay. The great thing about this is that you have a bluff blitz player here usually. So this is something that we're going to use. Okay. We're also going to just take guys and either drop them out or play them in coverage or just have them pass rush. In real life, they will actually read the offensive line blocking. So not to get too technical, but if they see the offensive line sliding to their side, which is zone blocking in a pass protection style, they would drop into coverage. Okay. And the man rushers would keep on rushing. That's how they kind of like organize their who's dropping out and who's not. It's like a read stunt where they're basically, if you're to the side where they're zoning, which is harder to blitz and harder to get one-on-one blocks, then you drop into coverage. Okay. So that's something that we can't do in Madden, but we can just confuse the hell out of people and be bringing 5, 6 sometimes, and then also dropping guys out. It's as simple as that. So be ready for that one. Be ready for nickel 2-4 double mug. Okay. We're going to be doing the same philosophy there. And then be ready for nickel triple, right? We kind of have that boss front where everybody's to one side of the field, as in there's 3 defensive pass rushers to one side. Okay. We will also use even 6-1. This would be something we use against one wide receiver groupings, like 13 personnel, 22 personnel. We'll get lined up in that. Some of these other things were already in some of the book that I had before this, but we will use rush, dime rush as a way to play coverage. And I will take a look at the 2 big ones that also pop up are going to be 2-3-6. Okay, so this will allow us to get another corner on the field, but still keep Metellus in there at the linebacker position. And then the last one would be calling 3-3 over. Okay, we could either play it with the nickel or we can play it with the safety down. Okay, so we might have to make the manual sub if we want the right safety to be down, but this right now is going to be Harris playing the safety spot. So that's kind of the package. I'll match it up to all of the reasons and the whys you want to use each part of the package, but that's pretty much it. If there's anything else in here that I did not cover, like 4-4 split, it's because I haven't studied it yet. We don't need this 3-3 cub just yet. Okay. The 3-3 cub in the game is nice, but it doesn't give us enough variety when it comes to the actual coverages. The penny gives you a lot more coverages that you need. Okay. All right, guys. Just want to give you this intro. I hope you guys are excited about it. You know how to get lined up base football wise. Next thing I'm going to do is go through a game. I went through about 15 plays or so of a game versus the Falcons from about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Every single play I try to recreate in the game, and I'll put it on my play call sheet so you can see it. I'll give you the instructions. You may not want to use all of it, but I think honestly, if you learn like 4 or 5 things and just kind of work on that throughout the whole season, you'll get good at it. So it'll be a lot of simulated pressures, okay, and it would be a lot of, um, cover basically fire zones or simulated pressures, meaning that we're going to send 4, okay, but make it feel like we're sending 5 or 6. All right, guys. I will talk to you later, man. Peace.